Financial inclusion is a really important concept because it captivates both social equity and commercial interests equally, and for that reason it's a very attractive proposition for inclusive development. Commercially speaking, women represent an untapped clientele for banks in the ASEAN region, and if the products are adapted to women's preferences, then formal financial institutions can offer women security of funds, access to entrepreneurial networks, financial literacy.
Women make enormous contributions to our economies worldwide, but in many countries that economic contribution really isn't quantified, primarily because a lot of women, especially in developing countries, tend to operate in the informal sector. As a result of this, I think we don't really fully appreciate the value women bring to our economies, how they contribute to GDP, how they contribute to employment.
As UNCDF have moved from the traditional microfinance paradigm to the broader concept of financial inclusion, we have realized that looking more carefully at the nexus of women economic empowerment was very important. And I think in that regard, understanding better the access by and participation of women in real economy market is crucial to fully derive the benefit of financial inclusion.
Women's access to financial resources are absolutely crucial because when women have access to different resources and assets, they can spread the benefits to their lives, their families, and their communities.
Well, I think one of the key challenges is actually to understand what we mean by women's economic empowerment. And what we realize is that it's a very complex issue. It's not only about finance and access to economic activities. It also goes to a range of different challenges that women face in terms of access to transportation, difficulties in terms of being able to be mobile, different health issues, the access to childcare facilities. So there's a range of components that will influence women's economic empowerment.
It's that absence of data that prevents us from both acknowledging the contribution women make, but also knowing really where the gaps are and where the challenges are, and how we can better strengthen women's economic empowerment.
A single person cannot do everything, or she doesn't become powerful. When a group does and when a network helps that single woman, it becomes more powerful, it becomes more informative, and it gives lots of strength.
I think government can create an enabling environment for women, and it could range from many kind of policies. In Cambodia, for instance, the establishment of the private credit bureau is very helpful for women who don't have lands or property to pledge. And by providing their past credit history to the banks, it gives some level of comfort to the bankers about the history of that person in terms of their repayment history.
Shift has the potential to advance women's economic empowerment, both in terms of addressing supply side and demand side barriers to women's full financial inclusion. So on the supply side, Shift will work with regulators and financial institutions to encourage change of perception of women's creditworthiness and develop gender-sensitive financial products. And on the demand side, Shift will look at working with the private sector to identify solutions to some of the systemic barriers to women's financial inclusion.